What's up everyone, I'm Postman, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make an Illenium style future bass drop with only FL Studio stock plugins and samples, like this. Alright, so before I show you guys how I made this, you can actually download this project for free. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and also actually FL Studio posted about this on their YouTube page as well. It's really easy to download. You just go to this link and then click on free download here. It'll ask you to connect to SoundCloud, and then you'll just have to follow me and repost the track and everything. And yeah. So I would suggest doing that before so you can kind of just like work with me and see how I made this project. Alright, so I'm going to split it into a couple parts. I'm going to make a section for drums, instruments, vocal chops, and then effects. So first we're going to dive right into the drums. Alright, so first let's take a look at the kick drum here. It's actually 3 different layers, and like I said, I use only plugins and sounds from FL Studio, so they were all included in the FL Studio sample pack that comes with FL Studio. So this kick here, it's 3 different samples. I have the lower, like this one, it's just a pretty basic kick that comes with FL Studio here, and then what I did was I shortened it using this knob right here. So originally it sounded like this. Actually, I have a filter on it too. So I shortened it like that, and then put a filter on it, and that's the low end of my kick. And I also have a little bit of EQ on there, actually a lot of EQ. Just taking out that high end and doing some other stuff. And then I have these 2 layers. They're like kind of the top end of the kick. I put a wave shaper, EQ, and reverb on them. So this is what they sound like without that. Wave shaper doing some light distortion, EQ cutting out the low end, and then some reverb. And then they're both bused to the same channel here. So combined, I added some EQ, just some subtle stuff, another wave shaper, just adding a little bit of distortion to it, and then a soft clipper. So together, all 3 of those samples that all came from, the top ones I think came from this one, some of the random, there's a lot of really cool samples in here, and then just layered and came out with this kick. So there's actually a lot you can do with just the samples that come from FL Studio. And now for the snare, that's 2 different samples, I think. So this is a top end kind of snare. It's the same technique with the kick. They're both routed to the same channel here. So with this, looks like I pitched it up like 5 notes maybe. Added a little reverb, sound goodizer, and EQ. And then the bottom, which is like the meat of the snare, this is another snare that came from the Mode Audio sample pack that comes with FL Studio. I just put that envelope on it, pitched it up 7 notes, and just some EQ, compression, reverb. Nothing really crazy, like without the effects. Sounds really similar, but this just adds some reverb and more of a top end. So together to make that sound, and then just some more EQ and sound goodizer on both of them together. Not a whole lot I'm doing with that, but it sounds pretty sweet when they're layered like that. So and just a simple pattern here. In case you're wondering what this is a layer. You can like select what your layers you want to be, and then click on set children, and now every time you hit one of these, it'll play all three at the same time. So that's how I did that. As you can see, I use a lot of toms as well. This was one of the SFX samples from this pack, I think. Earthquake. Yeah. So I just reversed that, and then I use that a lot. I use that reversed sound a lot in this drop. You can see it right here. And then I also have these toms. These, I think, are the same sounds. I just layered them for some reason. And they're panned as well. And then let's see what kind of effects I put on there. Just some EQ, compression. I didn't use that wave shaper, I guess. Sound goodizer. Pretty much for a lot of these, I'm using the same plugins because they work really well. Just EQ, compression, and sound goodizer, and reverb and stuff. So that's just a cool little fill in there. And then there's another cool fill that was just a basic snare that I found in one of these packs, and then some toms. And then I routed them all to the same channel and added some distortion with wave shaper. I just mess around with these points until I get a distortion sound that I like. So around there sounded good to me. Some compression just to make it snappy. Some more distortion with fast distortion. Some random preset on multiband compressor. I just went through the presets until I found something that sounded cool. And then transient processor. Yeah. And I think that sounds more interesting. And then for the hi-hats, I have these open hi-hats. Again, all samples that I found mostly from this Mode Audio drums. Just a simple pattern. And some reverb and EQ, that's all. And then I have this other closed hi-hat sound, kind of like a rap, trap kind of hi-hat kind of thing. And I have a stereo enhancer on here just to make it stereo. I really like using this sometimes. Makes stuff sound more stereo. Yeah, so together. And then for the build up, just simple, another kick sample that I did the same technique with, and then another cool snare sample that I found. Not a whole lot going on with the effects. Just again, EQ, reverb, and sound goodizer. I think that pretty much covers it for the drums. So I'm gonna move on next to the instruments. All right, here are all the instruments. So let's go through the layers real quick. I just have a pretty basic, looks like there's 3 layers here. This one's just harmless, just really basic dephase sawtooth, 6 unison, just really basic sounding synth. And then I have this one, which is 3 oscillator, just with saw, really simple stuff. And then harmless, another low cut pad. So they're all in their own respective channels. And I routed them all to this chord bus because I like to do that sometimes to affect all of them. Like I affect them individually, but then I have them all together and I can do some EQing and stuff to make them all sound tighter together. So with this first one, just a little bit of EQ, taking out some of these lows and low mids frees up space, makes it less muddy. And then this one I added some distortion because I wanted that really crunchy sound, and then similar EQ on this one. And then I did these low pass chords because I feel like Madian does this sometimes. I'm a really big fan of Madian, and he has like cool sounding low pass chords. I took away the body of the sound with these ones, and then I kind of have this one taking the body, just cutting off all the high end, and so together they all sound pretty fat and bright. Yeah, so those are the main synths. These chords, I just played around for a while. I'm not really going to teach you guys how to make chords in this video, but you can check out how I did them if you download the project. And then we have this lead, which is Citrus. I think it was a preset that I found. And I just edited it a little bit. It's very basic. Yeah, just saw synth with reverb, and it's detuned and everything. Actually, I added the reverb here. Sound Goodizer, EQ. Yeah, that's just following along just to give you something on top of the chords to grab onto. Then I have GMS with the bass. I think this is like the default sound. It just sounded really crunchy and nice, so I kept it. Just some distortion and EQ. So this is what we have so far. And then obviously we have the sub bass, which was just 3 oscillator. I used a triangle because I wanted it to be a little bit, have a little bit of harmonics, not just a pure sine wave. And then I added some distortion for more harmonics, and then low pass, and boosted the low end a little bit. So it's really fat sounding. So, and then just simple white noise with 3 oscillator. You just click on the, nope, that's not the right one. It's the random, like the dice thing. That's the white noise. Yeah, no effects on there. And so these are, all these layers are, like I said, they're routed to this sidechain channel. Yeah, so those are all the layers. I did add a really cool effect here. I'll quickly show you how I did that. So I put a fruity balance just for volume on the sidechain bus because that's where all these synths are going. And then I automated it so it only turns on the plugin right here. When it turns on, I have, I think I just made an automation clip by right-clicking on it and then create automation clip. And then I went to this function where you can click the LFO. And here, let me solo these real quick. Okay, so you click on this LFO and you got this cool effect going. And you can also adjust like the amount. So this is adjusting how far the volume knob is going to go. So if I have it here, then it's only going to go up to like here where this is. So we have this LFO going, the amount at like 50%. And then the speed is being, which is this one. I have that automated as well. So it's like automating an automation clip. And then I just messed around with this until it sounded right to me. Yeah, so that's how I did that. And I also have some random reversed sounds that I just recorded. This is like all the synths together, and I put a reverb on them, recorded it, and then reversed it, so it kind of just like sucks it into that chord. Yeah, so that's how I did the instruments. Now let's move on to the vocal chops. Alright, so I just have a couple vocal things going on here. This little
Rock me, baby.
thing, and then which just adds interestingness to the track. Yeah, so I just took this sample right here. It says "Rock Me, Baby."
Rock me, baby. Rock me, baby.
Just a random sample from FL Studio under the vocals, I think. Yeah, it's in here somewhere. And
Rock me, baby.
I just chopped it up so it's in time with the song.
Rock me, baby.
And then I added
Rock me, baby.
a bunch of effects to make it sound cool. First I have Wave Shaper,
Rock me, baby.
just giving it that crunch, that distortion. And then I use this a lot, which
Rock me,
is
baby.
the lo-fi thing on the effector.
Rock me, baby. Rock me, baby. Rock me, baby.
Just making it sound bad in a good way.
Rock me,
Then
baby.
I have just all the highs and lows cut out, so it sounds kind of radio-ish.
Rock me, baby.
And then
Rock me.
stereo enhancer again.
Rock me, baby. Rock me, baby.
And then another just random preset on multiband compressor. I just scrolled through the presets and then found one that sounded good.
Rock me, baby.
Maybe messed with it a little bit.
Rock me, baby. Rock me.
And then some more EQ.
Rock me, baby.
And yeah, you can just get really interesting sounds just by messing around. I think that just adds a little bit to the track.
Rock me, baby.
And then for this part, I took another sample. It sounds like this.
Don't stop now.
Or it sounds like this originally.
Don't stop now.
And then I made that, I stretched it out a little bit and I recorded only this part.
Now.
Yeah, I just grabbed that part and then added a crap ton of effects on there. A little bit of EQ, a big reverb, and then a bunch of distortion, compressor, sound goodizer, some EQ, taking out some of that harshness. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I had 2 octaves. So yeah, with the octave it sounded really cool. And then these lower notes, I have the velocity a lot lower. And then I made this filter, the Fruity Love filter here. And it just kind of like blends in with the track and sounds really nice. Yeah, so that's all I did for the vocals. Let's move on to the effects. Okay, so I got some cool effects going on here. Some of them were homemade and some of them were from samples that I pulled. First of all, we have this riser during the build-up. Oop. Which is just 3 oscillator with the note, and then if you click here, then you can click another note and it'll slide up to that note. So if this was a regular note, it would not do that. But since it has this like little thing right here, it'll slide up to that note. So I just have just some detuned saw waves and then a reverb. It's really simple. Then just this reverse sample here. And yeah, just various things like that throughout the track. Just basic stuff. Yeah, it's kind of surprising how cool a lot of these samples are that come with FL Studio. And then we have like this cool sound right here, this like dubsteppy sound. I kind of accidentally made that. I just found this random effects sound. I messed with the pitch, and then this knob is really awesome right here. It like starts the pitch up really high and then like goes down low. So I have that just sounding random. And then I did the same technique with the synths where I did the LFO on the volume. And then automated the speed. And then I just added, let's see, Panomatic to pan it left and right, and then a reverb. Yeah, it was actually really easy to make that sound. And it sounds really dope in the track. And then this was another random effects sound that I messed with the timing and the pitch, and like I just messed with all these knobs and it kind of sounded cool. Added a bunch of EQ, ring modulation, just destroying the sound. A chorus, let's see, a stereo effect, and then sound goodizer. And then, yeah, it just kind of sounds random and cool. And then over this Rock Me Baby thing, I have these like glass breaking samples or whatever. I just kind of chopped them up and panned them. Added a little bit of reverb, EQ, sound goodizer, and that just kind of, it's weird, but it sounds good.
Rock me, baby.
So, yeah, just explore the random samples and add stuff to your songs.
Rock me, baby.
This was another synth sound, and then it's just like I automated the cutoff, just going up into that chord. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing right there. You guys can poke around this project, figure out some more things maybe that I didn't cover, and yeah, I really hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Also, I'm going to be releasing some brand new music soon, so don't forget to follow me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram. Keep updated with all that. Until next time, peace.